Christians in Tuscumbia, Alabama, just an hour away from where I live, are up in arms about a festival. They want the city to deny a festival event permit to a group that wants a Yule festival. Their reasoning shows exactly what is going on in the United States. No longer are Christians content with religious freedom. They want privilege. No longer are they content with equality. They want favoritism. Listen to the believers. Hear how they feel that anything less than their religion having total dominance is offensive to them. The most ironic of all is the last speaker, and I could not make this up if I tried. Her name is Karen. Let's have a chat. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, and especially to my patrons and channel members. And also an extra special thank you to the people who have been watching my old videos and watching some of my videos twice to help keep the algorithm going for me while I recover from foot surgery. I'm still in my cast, and I will be for a few more weeks. Then, when that is completely recovered, I need to start over and do the other foot. So it's going to be a while. I first came across the video of this little town hall meeting when I saw him at Meta post about it. The first pastor to speak mentions him by name, sort of. The location got my attention. It's just 50 miles from where I live. But the way these Christians demand their privilege got my ire. Let's take a look.
According to some research that I have done, I just found out about this in the last couple of days, and I've done a lot of research on this, and Krampus, and I certainly hope I'm saying that correct, Krampus is depicted as having long curved horns, fangs, a long tongue, and dark hair all over. I certainly trust that you folks, before you permitted this, I trust that you did research to see what all of this means.
He's not wrong. Krampus does look like a scary dude, but he also looks a lot like this scary dude on billboards in Alabama, being used to scare people into churches, supposedly. I think most of us just laugh at them. But if Krampus is a problem for your children because he's a scary dude, why aren't you lobbying against these billboards as well?
It makes it look very devilish.
And that's offensive to your religious beliefs? He's serving the same function as the devil in your faith. So again, what is the problem? You have the same character in your storybook, holy book.
It started in Australia folklore, probably as a way for parents to try to make their children behave. So you take Santa Claus on one hand and Krampus on the other hand, and the kids get up on Sunday morning that have been good and receive gifts because they've been good. But on the other hand, Krampus will scare the children, beat them with a bundle of birch switches, and it's kind of like Satan's evil counterpart.
Wait. Krampus is Satan's evil counterpart? Satan is a good guy now? This is getting a bit confusing. Also, doesn't your holy book tell you to beat kids with rods? Don't you regularly tell kids stories about how if they aren't good, they aren't going to heaven? About how when people aren't good, God drowned them all? About how when Pharaoh didn't listen to God, God sent an angel to kill all the innocent firstborn children in Egypt? How is this story any scarier than the ones in your favored book?
Krampus tribute involves public drunkenness, men running through parties as a sort of twisted anti-Christmas celebration. My celebration during this time of the year is for the Lord Jesus Christ. As we celebrate His birthday,
Well, good for you. Is there no room in your world for differing celebrations? Will this event in any way prevent you from having the celebration that you want? I'll answer that for you. No, it won't. You don't have to go to this, and you can still have your celebration. So why do you think that your celebration should be the only one allowed? Why do you expect such favoritism and privilege for your point of view?
We have really gone too long and not stood up as Christians about things like this. And so we're here tonight. I don't know how many's here that stands up for this or is against it or whatever. But that's what Christmas is about, is to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And that's it. That's it.
That's right, dagnabbit. All those people out there thinking that they can celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or winter solstice, how dare they? Someone needs to tell this guy that some of these celebrations, including Yule, have been around since before Christmas was even a thing.
I don't want a pagan holiday, and I know we have them. But I don't want us to have any more pagan holidays.
And that's it, right there. If it isn't my religion, it should not be allowed because I don't want it. No concern for those who do. No concern for the constitutional rights of others. This is what I want, therefore, by gum, you need to outlaw anything that isn't what I want. Because I'm a privileged white male Protestant.
They were the original people to post about this by the name of John Portman, and he pretty much copied and pasted that to a magazine called Trend.com. Says this: I hope Gilchrist is right that the backlash won't go anywhere after Monday's meeting. City officials need to recognize that complaints from Christians aren't good enough reason to ignore their own laws. I'm here to tell you we are good enough to stand up for Jesus.
And clearly he missed the point of what his own article said. It said that Christian complaints are not a good enough reason to ignore your own laws. He didn't say Christians aren't good enough to stand up for what they believe in, which seems to be how this speaker is taking it. And John Portman is absolutely right. It doesn't matter who is speaking on behalf of your faith. It's not that you are not good enough to make your argument. It's that the argument isn't good enough to be a reason to make an exception to the law. Maybe try reading your own article before trying to refute it.
And I'm going to do that. And we've got people here that's going to do that. Let's go on to hear what Herman Meta said in The Only Sky.
And again, he shows that he doesn't even read his own sources. It's Hammett, not Herman. Let's try the next speaker. Let's see if he's any better.
I agree 100% with Pastor Greg. My name is Shane Sweeney. I pastor Launch Point Church in Tuscumbia, and I stand opposed to this. I stand opposed to this on many reasons. And I 100% back what Greg said. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. I think the scripture is the authoritative word of God. I think it's what we base our whole life on.
And therein lies the problem before he even finishes making his first point. He believes in the Bible and thinks everyone should base their whole life on it. He's welcome to think that. But what he isn't welcome to is forcing anyone who doesn't believe that to live as if they do. This Yule festival in no way impedes on his beliefs. He just wants his beliefs to be law. No one can have any celebration that doesn't conform to his religious beliefs.
It says this, but I'm not surprised. Even Satan himself disguises as an angel of light. You can call this thing whatever you want to call it. You can make up and live and ride unicorns and have rainbows in your world every day.
So there's room in this world for Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe?
But I'm just here to tell you, anybody with any lick of sense, anybody with any biblical knowledge.
Note how he equates biblical knowledge with having any sense, as if the Bible actually made sense. I mean, come on. Why would a God make a world, declare it good, then put a tree in the middle of it that he knows will ruin everything, make the tree attractive, then put people in it that he knows will eat from the tree and ruin everything, and then make sure they eat it by making them with no understanding of what is good, and then act all upset when they eat the fruit, when you knew darn well that was what was going to happen if you put the tree there? How does this make a lick of sense?
It is demonic, it is satanic, and you are opening up this city for possession and oppression that you have never known, never ever known.
The devil is going to get you if you let people think any way other than my way, because my God makes sense that way. He gives you the free will to choose him or else. Think the next speaker will be any better?
Hey, my name is Drew Tennell. I live on 5th Street over here. I'm also on staff at the Presbyterian Church. I speak against the decision that the City Council made for this festival, and I agree with my two brothers who made this great case against this. Regardless of whether it is pagan or satanic or from whatever origin it is demonic because it is against Christ. There's only one true living God who is Christ, as revealed himself in his word. Therefore, any worship or glorification of any false deities that are contrary to Christ ought to be opposed by all peoples, especially Christians.
Except this isn't worship. No one is asking for a permit for a worship ceremony for Krampus. It's a festival. It's artists and dancers and merchants having a festival. But even if they were worshiping, you claim that all people should oppose this because this isn't the one true God? Buddy, there's lots of people that don't think Jesus is the one true God. Muslims, Jewish people, Buddhists, Hindus, atheists, to name a few. If I got up there and did exactly as you claim that I should do and say that I oppose this festival because it doesn't honor your God, you people would think I was nuts. Why on earth do you expect people who don't believe in your God to champion your God for you? Maybe if you were paying enough money? But seriously, that's just weird.
When Moses comes down from the mountain after giving the 10 Commandments, and he sees the nation of Israel worshiping a golden calf, he doesn't turn up to God and say, well, God, sorry, it's religious freedom. They ought to be able to do it. You can't speak to the one true living God in that way.
Couple major differences here. First, they were living in a theocracy. They had a government-sponsored religion. The United States is not a theocracy, at least not yet. Religious freedom is in our Constitution. Have you never read the First Amendment? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting its free exercise. That means the free exercise of anyone to practice any religion, not just yours. Do you not see what you are advocating for is the overthrow of the government and the formation of a new government that endorses your religion as the only one permitted? Second, even in your storybook, they weren't worshiping Jesus as the one true God. Those people hadn't even heard of Jesus, as he wouldn't be born for another couple thousand years. If we do as you ask, endorse Christianity as the only permitted religion in Tuscumbia, and ban all December festivals that don't celebrate Jesus, you also eliminate Hanukkah, a celebration of the very people you are reading about in your storybook. Honestly, I doubt any of these people thought through their comments and considered what they are really asking for.
So, the problem is that not all beliefs are equal. Not all ideologies are equal. There are some who are false, and there is only one that is true, and that's Christ.
In your opinion, many, in fact, the vast majority of people on the planet would beg to differ. You can't back that claim. It's merely your opinion.
As a taxpayer of Tuscumbia, I oppose my money being spent on such an item. As a voter, I oppose it.
Again, he's welcome to his opinion, but he's wrong. His tax money isn't supporting this event. The only thing the city did was issue a permit for the event. They are not sponsoring it. I'd like to know if he would oppose tax money being spent to support private Christian schools. I doubt it. But that is happening through voucher programs in this country. I doubt that he would oppose tax money going to refurbish a church playground. But that also was upheld by our Supreme Court. See Andrew Seidel's book, American Crusade, for details on those cases. And this is the issue. American taxpayer dollars are being used to advance and promote the Christian religion. They are not being used to promote other religions. Christianity is becoming the favored religion in this country by a deliberate undermining of our First Amendment by our own courts. These people here are the product of that shift in ideology. As Christianity becomes more favored, people like this feel entitled to a privileged position. Anytime they are not given privilege, special status, and favoritism, they yell persecution and claim the government is being hostile towards them. And that is exactly the basis the courts are using to decide in their favor again and again. What you see here is comical in the short-sightedness of the Christians. But worse, this is our future if we don't act to preserve our First Amendment rights. We need a counterbalance on the courts to return us to true religious freedom. Currently, our Supreme Court and lower federal courts are overwhelmingly represented by only one religious viewpoint. And that viewpoint is rapidly acquiring a position of privilege our Constitution never intended.
Think about the seat belt. Everybody remembers cars used to not have seat belts. Then they came out with a lap belt. Then they came out with a shoulder strap. Then they decided some people would wear them and some people wouldn't. So they decided to pass a law and make it where everybody would. Same thing happens here, just like Brother Greg said. This can lead to something else and something else. Remember the seat belt. It just started with something, and elected officials are supposed to take care of the people. And that's what the seat belt was for. It wasn't about rights. I don't have a right to wear it or not wear it. It's a law now. So you're elected to take care of the people. The people have spoken, and they're not for this.
What on earth is he getting at? Seatbelts led to something else? Yes, driving is much safer with them. That's why they are required. If we allow this festival, people will be safer? I don't think that's what he's trying to say, but that's what seatbelt laws led to. Major difference here is the First Amendment is the law. For the city council to decide, as these people are asking, would be a violation of the law. To use your analogy, it would be like if the city of Tuscumbia passed an ordinance that seatbelts are no longer required in the city, even though this would be a direct violation of state and federal law. Your people would be less safe. Is this what you want? The city to violate the law by forbidding this permit and thus putting the religious freedoms of all of your citizens in jeopardy as the city council now claims the power to usurp federal authority? Again, I don't think you thought this through. Your analogy just doesn't work here, and I don't think you realize that you are asking your city council to ignore the law at best or start a revolution at worst.
Hello. I'm also from Launch Point Church, and something came to my attention today, and people may not be educated to know exactly what all's taking place. It's more than just it's not just going to be a Dunkin' booth and, like you said, unicorns and rainbows.
That is certainly an understatement. Most of y'all have no idea what you're asking for.
The Logan Taylor Medium Road Show, Saturday, December 3rd, Tuscumbia, Alabama. Fall Gallery Reading Tour. Now, I don't think he's going to be reading 13 Alabama ghost stories. He's not going to be doing things that we would see at the Helen Keller Festival, reading to kids. This is a reading. This is occultic. This is what we've seen in the Bible numerous times. This is what we've seen all over the world. This is Tuscumbia, Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. This is our home. I serve at this church. I live in Muscle Shoals, but I love this town like it's my home. And I'm calling y'all out.
His problem is there will be a medium or psychic at the festival. He thinks mediums should be banned from his city based on the fact that his storybook says they are bad. When I Googled it, there are a couple psychics in the area. There is actually one right in Tuscumbia. This page says it's permanently closed, but this page says it's open now, as does my Google Maps. Interesting. You don't want a medium to have a show in your town, but you have one that's open 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And you know what? She has as much right to offer her services as your church does.
That's what's going to be here. What else is going to be here for this? Do we know? Do we know what's going to show up from out of town? What's going to magically appear?
What's going to magically appear? Does he think that things just pop into existence out of nothing? Having a Yule festival in his city is going to change the laws of physics and there will be magic there? That actually would be pretty cool. I have to wonder if this guy believes in actual magic. I guess he does, since he thinks the festival is going to allow stuff to just start magically appearing in his city. Maybe it will be a good thing. Maybe rainbow unicorns will magically appear. Imagine how famous your city will become. The real issue is he doesn't know what this is about, and he's afraid of what he doesn't understand. Maybe a better solution than ban anything I don't understand would be find out what it is all about. Maybe learn enough about things outside of your church so that you don't find the world such a scary place.
Yule is tied to the false god Odin. Odin has influenced our children over the years, and in fact, it started in. Odin was adopted as a character by Marvel Comics, first appearing in the Journey into Mystery series in 1962.
Okay, this is just too much. Now Marvel is evil because it promotes Thor. So he wants to ban Marvel comic books from his city and Marvel movies from his city theaters. He's beginning to sound like the believers that I went to church with as a young adult that said that no Christian should ever go to an R-rated movie. Drinking and gambling were also taboo. But we never try to ban these things from the entire city.
But it goes further than that. Odin is featured in a number of video games.
Okay, he wants to ban video game sales too. Anything else, sir? Maybe your church should just make a list of what should be permitted, because we all know
the church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church.
Right? This would be funny if he didn't think exactly that.
He is a major influence in the 2020 Ubisoft game, Assassin's Creed.
Okay, now you're getting a bit personal here. I just got the Platinum Trophy yesterday in Assassin's Creed Origins. That isn't the one he's referring to here. He's referring to Valhalla. I doubt he knows that there are many Assassin's Creed video games. But Origins has lots of gods that aren't his god as well. It features Egyptian gods. You can even fight Anubis, Sekhmet, and Sobek in the Trial of the Gods. I wonder how he feels about fighting against gods he sees as false gods.
Santa Claus is tied to the Yule.
Wait, we're supposed to ban Santa Claus too? Goodness, you have your work cut out for you. Not to mention all the kiddies that are going to cry when they find out that you had Santa Claus banished from your town. Santa won't be able to bring presents to the kids in Tuscumbia on Christmas morning, as he has been banished from your city. Sorry.
My parents told me about Santa Claus. And Santa Claus goes back way back there. Yule is portrayed as the Santa Claus of the pagan cult of the Germanic nation. Why would we allow somebody else to bring in their culture and their false gods to overrule what we already have as a traditional culture, and I'm happy with what we have now. I'm satisfied that my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was born on December the 25th.
Someone needs to clue him in that no serious Bible scholar thinks that Jesus was born on December 25th. That date was chosen arbitrarily to celebrate Jesus' birth, and it was because believers didn't want to participate in the numerous pagan festivals that predate Christmas that center on the winter solstice. So they made up their own holiday as their alternative. Now he thinks his tradition to be the original tradition. It isn't. But seriously, dude, is there not room enough in your city for differing ideas, different cultures, and different festivals? Are you really seeking a monogamous culture where everyone has all the same beliefs? Check your history books. That was tried, and it failed miserably. The Massachusetts Bay Colony was originally founded by the Puritans as the Puritan experiment. No one was allowed to live in the colony unless they adhered to the Puritan faith. It lasted all of one generation. Many of the children of the original colonists did not agree with their parents' faith. The people soon realized it wasn't possible to run a society where only one culture was permitted. Or maybe take a lesson from what happened with the Trail of Tears that goes right through your city. Tuscumbia Landing is a national Trail of Tears historic site. Right there, just outside of your city limits, is a memorial to the pain and suffering caused by trying to wipe out another culture. Yet here you are advocating for a repeat, not of the Trail of Tears, but a repeat of an attempt to wipe out all cultural influence that you don't like. Go look at the monument, sir. It doesn't end well.
In this festival, must drink ale. So drinking is heavily involved in this festival.
He wants to ban alcohol, too. Got news for you, bud. Alcohol is legal in your city. You can get it in lots of places, not just at the festival.
Because our children, our young folks, they're already having a hard time. But here we come allowing something else to come in to influence them to the point that's going to drag them down and eventually destroy them.
And this is the rest of the problem. He wants children to see no outside influence, no other ideas or cultures except his. He sees children being exposed to other ideas as destroying them. Why? Because young people are leaving the church in droves. If he can control what they are allowed to see when they are young, he might be able to indoctrinate them to the point where when they learn about other ideas, they will reject them out of hand, as he has. But he's wrong. This is exactly why young people are leaving the church in droves. They have access to these cultural influences through the internet. Even if you ban festivals like this one from your city, controlling what your kids are exposed to is no longer as easy as it was 40 years ago. Children will learn about other cultures in school as well. Even if you succeed in raising your kids in bubbles where you control all they are able to learn, once they see the world that you have kept hidden from them, you will completely destroy any credibility you had with them. They will find out the hypocrisy of your claims of freedom in Jesus, being limited to only your ideas about who Jesus is. They will find out not only are there other ideas about other religions, there's even other ideas about what Christianity is. They will see the world is not what you tried to make it out to be, which in turn will bring into question everything you tried to teach them about your God. If your God is really truth and love and power and knowledge, then your God should be able to fend for himself. Your God should be able to be seen that way without sheltering yourself and your city from any other ideas about God. The message that I get from you is that your God is so weak and puny.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Puny God. That he needs your protection for his very survival.
As a Christian, as a mom, I have 3 young influential children. I know you think you might know what I'm going to say, but I'm not. I grew up Christian. We were not even allowed to dress up for Halloween unless we picked a Bible character. So that's my background, okay? But I also do not feel that the people that are bringing this in are doing it out of malice or doing it out of a place where they're trying to cause destruction. And when we're looking at the whole of it, I absolutely understand where all the pastors and the people from church are coming from. I absolutely do. But what about the Okekapasa festival? I mean, the Indians, the Native Americans did not believe what we believe, but we celebrate that every year. None of you guys had any problems with your kids and grandkids dressing up as Thor and coming to the Halloween festival. I was there. I saw demons and witches and everything else. I mean, that was something that I was raised to believe is wrong. But we had no problem with that. Everybody here was involved in that, right?
Finally, a believer that sees the hypocrisy of all the previous speakers. Unfortunately, even she does not see that what they are asking the council to do is to violate the law.
It's not the city council's responsibility to come in and say what I should protect my children from. Spirituality and your spiritual responsibility starts at home, okay? Did they go through the permit process? Okay, so they went through the process that everybody else has to go through, right? There's no voting, right? Okay, so, I mean, you know, it's one of those things that if you don't agree with it, you don't have to show up.
She comes close. They went through the correct steps to get the permit. It isn't up to the city council to decide what events they want and which ones they don't want. Their only role is to determine if the group meets the guidelines for getting a permit. If the city wants to ban this type of event, they need an ordinance banning this type of event. They can't do it through the permit process. The woman is right. The city council doesn't vote on whether or not to issue the permit. It's a bit like getting a marriage license. If you fill out the form correctly and pay the fee, you get a license. The county clerk doesn't decide who can and who can't have a marriage license. At least, she isn't supposed to, Kim Davis.
But I'm not sure that it's the city council's job to enforce Christianity. You see what I'm saying?
I stand corrected. This woman really does get it. There is at least one person in Tuscumbia that gets it. Since she's a believer, maybe she can influence her fellow believers. One more. This final speaker is the most blind of the bunch.
My name is Karen Willis.
And her name is Karen. Bless her heart.
And I've lived here in Tuscumbia all my life. And I never thought that I would be standing here in the city council meeting with this problem. I read about, this is so offensive. It is so offensive to, I would say, 90% of the people in this room. And I was reading, I found out about this Friday, and I started reading and studying about it. And one thing I did read, I think you should know, about grandpas. Grandpas would visit homes, as been said, with St. Nick. And grandpas carried a bag on his shoulders. And the bag was for bad children. So the bad children were either eaten, burned alive, or sent to hell, or drowned.
Karen, have you ever read your own Bible? Did you not read the part where your God sends all the bad people to hell? Did you not read the part where God drowned all the evil children? Did you ever consider that your God just might be Krampus? Live your life.
Christian folk, we mean you no dismay. We pagans simply ask you, give us back our holiday. Jesus was being born in spring, so celebrate in May. Kindly give us back our winter holiday, holiday. Kindly give us back our winter holiday. Most common practices from our celebrations you did steal. Imitation, sincere flattery, we're glad they do appeal. But credit our traditions, don't act like such a heel. Kindly give us back our winter holiday.